Hey, good morning. It is the morning of July 21st. I'm getting ready to go to my second treatment, and this time I decided to do a water fast before I went. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that and then what we've been learning this week. Um, my mom has been watching this, Chris Beats Cancer video series, and she really wants me to be involved in it. So I watched some of it. I've been watching some of it. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Of course, I'm taking chemo, so it's a little different because I'm not trying to cure cancer only through food. But I do want to make sure that while I'm doing my cancer treatment, that I'm kind of, you know, eating in a way that will also kill my cancer. So I'm trying to do a little bit of what we call integrative medicine, and so we've been kind of taking a look at some of these other methods, like the Gerson method, which is kind of a juicing method where you drink juice and the juice is supposed to kind of clean out your body and help your body fight cancer better. And then he also mentioned this Bruce juicing method. So that's kind of what we've been doing this week, kind of investigating that. One of the things that kind of this Chris guy talks about is fasting. And so we kind of looked into some of the research regarding fasting for cancer patients. And one of the things that I found was this really cool study that had been done relatively recently, actually, about women and fasting during chemotherapy. And I'll post that link in the comments. But basically, the study talked about how women who fasted for 36 hours before their chemotherapy and then 24 hours after had increased outcomes and less toxicity and less hospitalizations from their chemotherapy, which is really cool. That is not to even discuss the other research articles that I read this week talking about how cancer cells have been found to have more apoptosis, or basically explode more, when someone is fasting than as opposed to when they're not. While they're taking chemo. So there's this really cool study that I was reading. It was a survey basically of a couple of other studies, and there's not a lot of research on this. It's not very well researched, but basically the hypothesis is that when your body goes into starvation mode, your body naturally creates this cell lining, a protective lining on healthy cells that keeps them safe from further damage. But because cancer cells are total posers, they don't actually know how to do this. So what happens then is when you go in for your chemo, the chemo more effectively attacks cancer cells and does less damage to your healthy cells. And I was actually reading some anecdotal evidence, some anecdotal stories of people on cancer.org and some other places where they're kind of boards that talk about doing fasting. People who had not lost their hair, because the hair is a living, is an actual healthy cell. And so people had not lost their hair because they'd done fasting during their chemo, or people who had not, had nail problems during chemo. My nails have been breaking all the time. They're just really, really brittle. So I thought, well, why not try it? So I started my fast. Actually, I started fasting on Sunday night, and I was thinking, I'll have a fast Sunday to Monday to Tuesday, to Wednesday, which is when I do my chemo, and then for a day after, which is Thursday. I would fast for 4 days, and then I got to Monday night, and I was like, 4 days is just too long, especially for someone who's only ever fasted for a day at a time, 24 hours at a time. That's just too long for me to fast. So and also I'm highly concerned about losing a ton more weight. I don't really want to lose a lot of more weight. I've already lost like 20 pounds for the past 2 months, and that's a lot of weight for me. So I started at like 146 like back in May when I didn't know I had cancer, and I'm down to like 126 as of today. So May, June, July, May to June, July. Yeah, 2 months. That's a lot of weight to lose in 2 months. So, and a lot of that has been, important. I've changed my diet a lot. There's a lot of things I'm not eating now, but needless to say, the fasting is not meant for me as a weight loss tool, right? Like the fasting is meant for me to put my body into this mode where it begins to protect my cells from the harmful elements of, including the chemotherapy. So that is why I'm doing it. And so I'm going to go to do my treatment here in about an hour and a half. Talk to my doctor and see what my doctor says. He's not going to be probably super excited about what I'm doing, but I am going to do it anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll see how it goes. I was going to get a port in, but as you can see, I don't have one because of some weirdo thing. I showed up to get my port put in, and they were like, oh, by the way, this hospital's not covered under your new insurance. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not getting a port. So I'll be doing my chemo this time also with an IV. So we'll see how it goes. And they didn't like it last time that I used an IV, but I wasn't really ready to have something installed in my body. As my doctor said, permanently, the thought being, well, you're always going to have chemo until you're dead. And I'm like, okay, maybe. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, so there it is. That's kind of my update for today. Just kind of doing all that stuff. And I'll put some links to some of the resources that I've been using this week, so you can kind of see what kinds of studies I've been reading. And like I said, there's not a lot of human research on fasting, but as the survey said that I read the other day, there is a lot of really positive. There's a lot of positive results from the early research. There's only been 3 different studies. It's not very many, but there's a lot of positive results, and it's worth trying. So, that's what I think about that, and I'll keep you updated as far as the port goes and how that goes if I do it, and let you know tomorrow how I feel after a 24-hour fast after my chemo. So I don't know if I'll do another video today. I might while I'm doing my chemo if they let me. It will be very short though. That's all.